Welcome to the lectures on service management principles. I am Grönroos from Hanken School of Economics. The topic is transforming manufacturing to service business. Now, product manufacturers have a major problem. It's a systemic problem. When I put this glass in front of me, I can't see you. Well, you can't see me and I can't see you, but if we would be in a classroom, you would be in disguise. And this is what happens for product manufacturers. The products always prevent the firm from seeing its customers. The product always draws too much attention to it. Sales is product-centric. Strategies are product-centric. Manufacturing is, of course, quality, technical quality-centric. And repair and maintenance is often product, technical outcome oriented. And this creates problems with customers. It creates problems with customer satisfaction. And in the end, it creates problem with profitability and competitiveness. And in today's competitive climate, these problems grow. And have there not been problems for a firm before, they are bound to come. So what to do? How to avoid falling into this pitfall of being the victim of the products? Well, a service perspective removes this hindrance and forces the firm to see its customers and helps the firms to gain proper customer insight. Because, you know, if we look at customers as somebody who we want and need and must help, support, whose everyday processes we should support so that they can reach their goals, we have to look at the customers. We have to understand the customer. We have to get more customer insights than otherwise. So taking a service perspective automatically makes the firm customer focused to a higher degree. Now, lip service to a service perspective is not enough. What we are talking about here is really being service oriented and customer focused. Now, how to become then a service business? In the literature, they talk about servitization and service infusion as a way of doing it. Servitization and service infusion means to gradually add more services to a product offering without really changing the core of the offering. Now, this won't work. At best, servitization can be a first step, but other than that, it really won't work. But the firm will still be product-based, the culture will be product-based. All attempts to create a service culture on the side will almost be failures all the time, because the product culture is still there, it has old traditions, and it's dominating. So a total turnaround in a manufacturing firm is really required. Now, this means, first of all, a strategy turnaround, and secondly, a corporate culture turnaround. A strategy turnaround, well, a strategic choice that the firm shall be a service business. A strategic choice that we are going to become a service business has to be made. And being a service business means that the goal is to support the firm's customers' everyday processes in order to facilitate their goal achievement in a value-creating way for the customers. And a corporate culture turnaround, well, a service culture is required. Service culture, well, a culture where providing good service is a natural way of life in the organization, where there are shared values relating to customer-focused service provision. Now, if you look at the normal relationship between a supplier and a customer, to keep it simple here, it's just a supplier-customer relationship, not including any other actors in a larger network. And typically it's the customer, if you look at the top of the slide, is buying something, for example, for its production process. A production machinery, part of the machinery, or a raw material, or anything. It could be so that they are buying something else too, but let's take an example, they're buying something for their production process. They also need to be able to go through the other processes on the slide. Order making in a way that they feel comfortable with. Warehousing, keeping stocks in a way that works and keeps costs down. Maintaining the machinery and the production process. Information, solving problems and controlling the costs. Now this means that the supplier cannot look only at the product and the customer's production process. They have to look at the whole customer process that is relevant for the customer's business and commercial outcome. This again means that the supplier's order taking, deliveries, product, maintenance, call center, service recovery and invoicing systems have to be geared towards the customer's processes. And we talk about practice matching, meaning that innovate and align the customers and the suppliers' processes and resources and competencies so that the customer's processes are supported more effectively than otherwise. Sometimes the supplier can match its processes to the customer. Sometimes the customer can match to its supplier. In the best case, both can match. This depends on power-dependent structures and other contexts. Now, how is value then emerging in this situation? Let's look at that. On the slide, we have here in the middle the customer's processes. And just an example, 4, 5 processes that for the customer's commercial outcome is important. Customer is buying something for its production process. Order making, secured production, and cost control and failure control are considered important everyday processes by the customer. This means that the supplier has to make sure that it supports these customer everyday processes in an effective way. So a product that functions, order taking system that functions, repair and maintenance that functions, invoicing systems that helps customer keeps costs under control, and service recovery claims handling that helps controlling failures that may happen in the customer's processes. So when this practice matching functions and the supplier indeed through all its processes mentioned here in this example supports the customer's other processes, then what we can call a process effectiveness occurs. Process effectiveness in all these customer everyday processes, and a technical value dimension is achieved, normally measurable in time, volume, numbers of mistakes, but sometimes also in costs. Now, value doesn't stop, the value process doesn't stop here. This is not really value for the customers. This is an intermediate value step. Final value relates to the customer's commercial effectiveness. And in a business-to-business context, it can be measured in monetary dimensions. Achieved growth effects for the customers, achieved revenue effects for the customer, achieved cost effects for the customer. And these are the commercial effectiveness outcomes for the customers. These are the real monetary value dimensions. Now, on top of that, we must remember that there are experience value dimensions as well. If the customers start to feel committed to the supplier, trusts in the supplier, feels comfortable with the way the supplier takes care of the various everyday processes, feels that the supplier is attractive, this also adds to the total value perception of the customer, which this is not easy, if at all possible, to measure directly. But normally these translate into monetary value dimensions, because if there is a commitment and it goes two ways, and if there's trust and it goes two ways, the practice matching process can move further. And this, for example, can lead to lower costs for the customer. Well, this is how value develops for the customer. Now, from this, we can wonder what is the benefits then for a manufacturer to take a service approach and try to support the customer's processes in a way that creates value as explained by the previous slide. Well, first of all, the manufacturing firm is forced to become customer focused, as I said in the beginning. If you really want to support your customers' everyday processes to enable the customer to achieve its goals, you have to be customer focused. You're forced to do that. And there are no products in between. The products are put aside. The products are just means of supporting the customers. But the core of the offering is supporting the customer's business. Secondly, better customer insight enables a more customer-focused offering, which, and this is important, is difficult to copy. The more customer-focused an offering is, the more difficult it is to copy for a competitor. And this means that the firm becomes more meaningful to its customers, which to me is the ultimate goal of marketing, that the firm makes itself meaningful to its customers. And it can help its customers serve their customers better. And this, of course, in business to business is always an important issue for a supplier. And in the final analysis, the firm becomes more competitive and probably more profitable as well. Now, there are 3 requirements. First is redefining the business mission and strategy from a service perspective. To really do that, no lip service. Secondly, redefining the offering as a process. Remembering the offering is not the product that is delivered. The offering is the process of holistically supporting the customer's everyday processes and through that the customer's commercial goals. The product is only one resource among others in this offering. And thirdly, servicizing critical elements in the customer relationships. So finally, a few words about servicizing. Now, servicizing is not the same as servitization or service infusion. It's not a matter of adding more services to the offering. Servicizing is the opposite to productizing, which too many firms are doing. Servicizing means make the resources function as service. Make resources and processes used in the offering function as service to the customers. That is so that they indeed support the customer's everyday processes in a way that facilitates the customer's goal achievement in a value-creating way for the customer. That is what servicizing is. So it's about thorough insight about customers' everyday processes and their impact on the customer's effectiveness that is first of all required in order to be able to servicize the resources and processes. We need to know what is the customer doing, why, what does he or she or the organization in this case want to achieve. Secondly, resources and processes critical to supporting the customer's processes have to be developed such that they support value creation, meaning that they have developed so much that they really support the customers in a value creating way. And indeed, value destroyers have to be changed and removed. And what are value destroyers? Well, they are processes that are complicated, bureaucratic, technical quality oriented only, or in any other way doesn't support the customer's process, but may be counterproductive to customers' perception of the processes. And thirdly, hidden services have to be activated and used as service value supporting processes. And again, hidden services, that is processes that the firm normally doesn't consider service. Invoicing, claims handling are typical hidden services. For the customers, they are indeed services, not hidden at all. And they create a lot of problems for the customers in the worst case. Therefore, it's important for the firm to activate hidden services. Now, in conclusion, turning manufacturing into service business improves the firm's customer focus, and it helps the firm to see its customers clearly, and therefore improves customer insight. But it requires a strategy turnaround, and it requires moving towards a service culture. These are imperative, the strategy turnaround and the service culture requirement. It also requires servicizing critical resources and processes, and internal marketing is essential and of strategic importance to success. But because in spite of the development of technologies and digitalization, people are still a key resource in customer relationships. And finally, it depends on continuous management support throughout the organization. Now, the next and final lecture will be about conclusion, guiding rules, and barriers. Thank you.